No, okay.
Sorry, yeah, I
Do you
don't.
want it to give them these?
Yeah.
This one down here, you can show,
We'll see.
what do
Yeah.
you want, correct answers or incorrect? Right now it's at the no.
See, I thought it was the correct questions with no correct answers.
I don't.
No, change
But
that,
no, I mean,
please.
if that's what you're saying,
No,
these two minus
I didn't
eight.
mean to do that. It should have been to show them what they got wrong, so that they know what they need to go in instead of, yeah, that was.
Just across
I
the
don't
board, I
know
wanna
why.
make sure both our settings are near to each other.
Yes.
I was like, oh, obviously if I put false, it's true.
Sorry, forgot I was broadcasting up there.
Oh. See the behind the scenes.
Are you, yeah, we're,
For what we're doing
So, yeah.
today.
oh, you wanna
is
jump back
in
into the
test.
Teams
I'm sorry,
meeting
it's
so
in
that,
live. Sorry.
yeah, no problem. Then I was wondering, I'm looking at the quiz in a different view and I was
You're
like,
like,
how
what?
is my view end up there different than, you're messing
Very
with me.
different view.
All right, let's focus this over. All right.
Yes, this is the light environment.
Okay, first one was the Nurse Liz video. If you haven't seen this yet, we'll walk you through where to find all the course material and all of that good stuff so you know. But you'll get kind of a rough idea of things and then maybe you and I can get together after this session and chat.
I do it on the.
Nurse Liz video. To me, the Nurse Liz video is real critical both for you and for your students. Okay? For you, it's a nice resource to kind of get used to Notability. But the biggest thing that I want you to take away from Nurse Liz is this is a great resource for your students. You can point to them and know how to use Notability. So Notability, and don't worry about following on entirely, you'll get a sense of this and we'll get you there.
No worries.
Yeah, we'll get you there. So, Nurse Liz video is up on YouTube. It's a fantastic resource just to point your students to and say, hey, if they're not getting it, here's a great place for you to go to start learning where to do that. Nurse Liz really takes it all the way through, but the ones she's pointing at, how to take freehand notes and how to take notes in PowerPoint were the two that she was after. So that was the question there. Okay?
Got that one.
All right, cool. Some of these are easy. It's the ordering ones, and I'll be honest.
It's the 3 and 8, yeah.
Yeah, those are some challenging ones. Question 2, what's the first step in PowerPoint? Download a PowerPoint to a PDF. In my mind, with PDFs, that's kind of our life blood in this environment. If you're trying to share things with students, PDFs are fantastic because you can share it with them. You can send it to them. The cool part is they can't edit it, so they're not going to be messing with your assignment. They can open it on any device, so we really try to live in PDFs as much as possible. But she's going to get downloading PowerPoint to PDF. What that's going to allow you to do when you start note-taking is you're going to actually be able to write right on the PDF, so we'll help you walk through that a little bit. And do you have her downloading Notability on hers?
No, we just got her enrolled.
Okay, good enough. Fair enough, all right. We'll kind of get things going. Here's the first one of the challenging ones. Okay. Question 3. What order do you need to put these in to take notes in your Notability app? First one, you want to slide up. We're going to do a split screen. So slide up from the bottom.
Okay, got that one.
Got that one? That's number 1.
Click and hold.
Yeah, click and hold Spencer's even giving me hands from the back here, so I'll read that. Click and hold Notability, and then you're going to drag Notability up to the side.
And release.
Okay?
Wait, oh. to the
Everybody
side.
get that one?
To the side. Okay. Or is there a different order than yours?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, we have
Yeah.
sharing on.
Because you shuffle it.
Yeah. With that?
In here, where is the quiz at in here?
Okay.
Did you find out?
Jamie, are you in the right spot?
Oh.
Yeah.
Where? Okay.
This is, gonna be the app that we would have talked about last time.
I took screenshots of
Today,
my
we're
answer.
taking a quiz.
So far.
You went to the right
Back
course.
to
There we go.
and go to course.
So these are the.
Well, and I
found
out that
Because,
I
it was
don't know.
a three question one, the one where you fill in the blank 3 times.
We need to be
and
out.
notes. It was only
Packages,
giving you
yeah.
the most points you could give
And
was
then
99,
what to do next time.
99%, so you couldn't get 100% anyway, so
Okay.
that was my
We don't have to worry
bad.
about submitting.
And with those, I was like,
Alright.
does he capitalized, is
It shouldn't.
lowercase, like.
I
so
got the
that
Wait, so you can get through it even.
Because those were the ones that I was like,
Yep.
let's see. But having like, so when I did the Brightspace quiz, it showed me which ones I got wrong.
Yes, and I
So
fixed
that-
that
you did,
setting,
okay.
so all the quizzes from now on should
So
say,
that
show
was
you
helpful, 'cause
what
then,
was incorrect.
So the first one was the freehand notes and then
Freehand notes and PowerPoint,
notes on PowerPoint,
and the second
Okay.
one was PDF.
download to PDF, gotcha. Now,
All right, now, so swipe up from the bottom, click and hold Notability, drag Notability, or excuse me, no. Drag Notability to the side of your choice, whichever side of the screen you want. You got that? Everybody got that one so far? Okay. Swipe up from the bottom, click and hold, drag. Enter dual screen. Click and hold the image and drag the image to Notability and release.
I actually had this one right.
Okay, here's the challenge one. You couldn't have got it right if you tried,
Oh.
okay? Because I got it perfect and it gave me a 99.9. Yeah, so we had to fix that one too. So thanks for being guinea pigs with us. We'll continue on. That's part of the reason for reviewing this, so you get a chance to see that too. Okay, this is an opinion one. Microsoft is the best way to ask questions, but at the same time, I agree with it. True. It's one of the nicest ways to reach out. So Teams is something we use to communicate. You can reach out to your entire team of this group and ask a question. So if you run into things, you'll be able to kind of get that and go. Abbreviation for UDL. Any thoughts?
Universal Design for Learning.
Awesome.
Yes. Universal design for learning, yes. So universal's in the first space, design is in the second space, and learning is the last space.
So what's that really mean? Anybody want to take a shot at it?
That regardless of what course you take.
Yep, regardless of what,
it's
yep.
The same.
No, it's all the same. This is just a design principle. The universal design for learning is that idea that everybody should have access to it. So design your course so that somebody that maybe English is a second language or a visually impaired person, whatever, your course really should be accessible to everyone. Okay? So just think about all of those different pieces as you're designing your course. We'll talk about that throughout a number of the days too. Which is the first step to active reader mode. Remember that was where it took it down to getting rid of all that extra junk that everybody saw? What's the first step? Or excuse me, active reader, sorry, it'll read to you. We'll get it right. Any thoughts? Turn on speak selection in the accessibility. Everybody read up on the link? Create a technology enriched learning environment for technology enriched learning. And then those were all the easy ones, and now we got that last one that's probably the bit of the challenge for everybody. This one we're gonna practice too once we get done with this. According to Notability importing slides, what's the correct order? So you're going to click on the 3 dots. That's gonna bring up the ability to print. So then you're going to click print. This is a challenge because I had it in a different order too. Then you're gonna click print. And then you're gonna click AirPrint. Then you're gonna click next. Then press the screen with 2 fingers in reverse. You know what? Yeah, that's right. Yep. And then press the export arrow and then click next.
Mean select
With that?
Yes.
select Notability and create a new note. That
Yep,
was
oh,
like
yeah,
that
I'm
last.
sorry, yep, I jumped up to the top and read the wrong one, so, yep, select Notability and create a new note.
All right, here we go.
Okay, was that all Greek to you now?
So
Committee.
Everything agreed?
Some
Let's see
of
where you're
it.
Okay,
What was it saying, Nicole?
So still the 0.999 because my
Yep.
abbreviation for Universal Design for Learning is,
But does it give you, I mean, it should have unlocked the next.
it probably unlocked,
Piece.
even if you had
Okay.
99.9, it should unlock the next. So now you can probably get to 2.
let me go back to the table of contents.
Got a 99.9, good, I got a 99.9, okay, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good to go.
Okay,
All
excellent.
right,
Thank you.
You're very
How
welcome.
do I make this?
I only
What's that?
have.
How do I make this?
Go away.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay,
Good.
and I just flipped 2 of them.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, let's,
So, right here.
well, he's working on it, I'm gonna jump on here, you've got notability, cool. And you have.
Man, I'll tell you what, the new version is so much less clunky than this, it's so much more organized. And easier to just
Yeah.
But we're
see
not
it.
changing
We
that.
can't yet because it won't let us pull over PDFs for some reason, and that's like simple ed tech 101 kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Like everybody has PDFs, so if you click on content,
It's so counterintuitive because
All right.
Brightspace is like,
And then
it only
PDFs.
wants to render
Okay.
PDFs, but then in the new experience, it's like, what's a
Well,
PDF?
yeah, we don't even know what a PDF is. Why, yeah, all kinds of fun. And that doesn't matter, I thought maybe it was an iPad thing. Doesn't matter whether you're an iPad, PC, doesn't matter whether you're using Chrome or any of that good stuff, that's kind of where it is. All right, so let's go back to that then notability piece. Now that you're in PR2, right, everybody in PR2 course? All right, we're going to jump in and download this into Notability. So this is gonna be the first one for you. What we do is coach students to download PDF presentations into Notability so they can take notes right on the slides. So you're gonna be able to right throughout this course as well. So first step then, if you're in your course, get me out of here. You should have PR2 available now. And into required content. Everybody in the required content? And go ahead and click on the PR 2.1 PDF. Onboarding 2.1 PDF. That should let you then download the PDF file, so you should have that on your screen. Okay, what's the next trick to that? Scroll all the way down to the bottom. And you'll need to scroll, remember to scroll on the right or left margin, not in the middle. And then choose download.
Mark, is there any way you can move your toolbar so it's a little bigger on the screen?
My toolbar.
Yeah, the left-hand side,
The way?
the left-hand side toolbar.
Oh,
So
yeah, we
sorry.
can get that, good call.
Thank you.
All right. Once you've downloaded, click the little up arrow up here, the box with the up arrow. And put that into Notability. And then choose create new note.
So download.
I did that.
Oh, because you're on Chrome, so that's
Yeah.
another way you could do it as well.
Okay.
But use, so go ahead and press the download.
Those three of you all get
Here.
that into Notability? Awesome.
Once it's done. Okay, now you can click open in, and then you can slide left.
All right, so we're gonna drill that process to the point where you're really comfortable. When I say download slides, everybody will feel really comfortable with that. And that's really what we want students to get used to too. So they come to course ready, downloaded notes, they're gonna start taking notes and go. 90% of our students know how to do it, so it should be pretty easy to tell them, download the PDFs, put it in Notability. If they don't get it, send them my way. All right? We don't want you spending your time teaching them to do that. All right. So now you've got your slides. So now let's actually get into today's content. Okay, so today what we're going to work on is really backward design, leveraging tools, notability, and course introduction. So that will really kind of start delving now into your actual courses instead of all the tools and fun stuff like that. So one of the key pieces that we use is backward design. Anybody ever set a goal? Okay. What is a goal?
Desired outcome.
It's backward design, I hate to say it. Everyone makes this big magic about backward design. Oh my gosh, what is it? The goal is backward design. It's starting where I want to be and working backward from there. And what steps do I need to do? But what's interesting is everybody knows how to do that. What's the first thing people do when they typically design a course? If you're not used to education, let's talk about forward design. What's forward design? Yeah. So forward design, I have a textbook. It has 18 chapters and I have 13 weeks to get through it. What do I do? Divide up the chapters. It's about a chapter and a half a week. And we progress through the textbook that way. It's forward design. If you say I'm covering the material, it's probably forward design. Probably not going to have a lot of success with your students in doing a forward design process. So really backward design is setting that goal about where you go. So we're going to talk about backward design and how that all gets put together. So today's learning outcomes, we've kind of got that in there. We backward designed this, but when you work with backward design, what you really want to think about is 5 years from now, you bump into a student walking down the street. And beyond the fact that they think you're the best teacher in the world, what are the 5 things you want them to remember from your class? Do you feel like you'd be successful if you got them to remember 5 things out of your class 5 years from now? Be pretty successful. Be really lucky. Be really lucky if they remember you. Okay? So asking them to remember more than those 5 things really is a challenge. So when you think about backward design, think about those 5 things. What are they? Now, those can be big buckets. So it's not 5 little random facts. Okay. Not quite that. But those 5 things that you want them to remember are your learning outcomes. You're going to hear learning outcomes. You're going to hear learning objectives. They're somewhat interchangeable. Okay. Some people will argue that fact, but nobody can make up their mind which it is. So I'll just tell you, learning outcomes, learning objectives, kind of the same thing. Important piece is 5 years from now, what are those students really going to remember? And then you backward design from that. So, what's the first question they're going to ask you each day? Guaranteed, right? Is this going to be on the test? Why are they asking that? They're studying to the test. Well, if it's part of your outcomes, more than likely it's going to be on the test. It better be. What's the second question they're going to ask? Any questions? What are we going to do today? What really is that? It's tied to a really specific question we all ask. Is the content that we study today going to be relevant? Why does it matter? I kept hearing that, and here I am now, almost 60, and I kept hearing all those advanced math classes I took. Someday I'd need them. I'm still waiting for those days. Okay? I know where they're there, but I'm still waiting. So what are we doing this week? Is it relevant to what I'm going to need to know to be a nurse? So that's really where backward design comes in as you think through this. So as you think through backward design, start with, way out here at front, the 5 learning things. Come back into the test questions. Okay. What test questions am I going to need to do? That should really hit to assignments then. If I'm doing a whole bunch of assignments that aren't showing up in the test, probably not relevant. I'm doing busy work this week. And then finally, textbook resources and reading material. So a lot of people will start with, okay, here's the textbook. what's in the textbook, and they work this way. If you start here, how do you know whether the things they're covering in the textbook are relevant or not? So as you think about backward design, what it really looks like from top down is start with the 5 things in the 5 years. And this is called alignment. If those 5 things are the most important things for them to remember, should those be on your test? What should be the heaviest thing in your test? Really focused on those 5 things. What are the things you really want them to pull from and really truly understand? If you're going to prepare them for this test, what assignment should they be doing? Should that assignment be relevant to what's going to be on the test to prepare them? You ever hear the term, I'm doing busy work?
Always.
Always? What's that probably telling you? That what I asked them to do in this assignment isn't really going to line up with the test. And it really doesn't matter 5 years from now whether I knew that or not. But if you think about aligning this, and then finally, what resources, what study materials, what textbook chapters should I be assigning to align all of those different pieces? Because in the end, if I'm asking people to do a bunch of stuff that's not here, then you do hear that comment, it's just busy work. Where does it really apply? So if you can communicate this alignment to your students, then they're going to probably give you a much better review when it comes to class evaluations, because they know and they see the relevance of all of that different stuff that's going through. If they can't see this path, they get really confused. Okay, you're telling me this is important in this lecture over here, and I've got 90 slides with 90 words on each slide. What do I pick out that's important? What are those skills? What are those things that I need to know as I put this together? Does that make sense? That's a really critical one to kind of think through, because it will save you an awful lot of headache in that backward, or in that course delivery. All right, so let's take a look at notability. Stay where you're at and let's just talk about notability, and I'll show you actually how this course was designed. So we can open it up. This is something that I use called Cornell method. You're gonna see all my chicken scratches that led to this class. Up at the top, very first thing that I put on there, really sat for a week and just thought about what are the outcomes that I want out of this class? What do I want you to know? What are the things you're going to come back to me and say, gee, I wish I would have known X, Y, Z? Okay. I put those 5 in. Easy to navigate courses using Brightspace. Develop and create backward design courses. Record and distribute engaging online class sessions. Leverage the tools and integrate the active learning strategies into the classroom. So those really should be the 5 that you come out. And actually, if I come over here, you can see the entire course. And then I just chicken scratched all the different things that I thought about for that class. You ever feel like your class looks like this? Those of you that are starting new classes, like Jamie, does that kind of feel like where you're at with the course? As I have all this stuff in my head, trying to figure out where it all goes? This was a really handy method for me to think about. Cornell method, you put the top topics at the top, and then down the side, these topics move down here, and then put all of your chicken scratches for each individual one in those boxes. That gives me that ability then to look at what are the things I wanted to cover in each of those, what are the things that are going to help you put this all together. So if you stop and think about what are these then? This is that textbook material that was down at the bottom of the list. What are all the things I should be pointing to? What are the resources that we should be pulling in? What are the topics I want to talk about? What are all those things swirling around in my head that then hit active learning and help me address that top level of active learning? So it gives me a chance. This can be done on butcher paper. It can be done in Notability. It can be done wherever you feel comfortable. But really thinking about how you organize your course around those 5 topics really helps. This five you. Yeah, remember that they're big buckets. But it helps you get those organized. Anything, Spencer, you want to add into this? Thoughts? Things we should be thinking?
I mean, yeah, it's, so those 5 learning outcomes or learning objectives, they are large. And they're that way for a reason, so that, you have that content and those ideas that you're like, I have to get these 7 things to my students. But they're not necessarily an objective all by themselves, or an outcome all by itself, okay? Because multiple things go into that, right? So, I mean, you can see, like develop a backward design course, you can see here, with Mark, what he put into that. All these things that we're covering, all those pieces will then lead us to reaching officially that outcome for our students. And so when we really look at this experience, it's basically 3 stages basically. But we'll break that down later. But yeah.
So I see you joined in, Tracy. How long have you been working down there and we didn't even see you down there? Can you hear us okay? You must be muted, so. You're muted.
Trying to get off mute here.
There we go. Awesome.
I apologize. My
No
dad,
problem.
my dad got put in the hospital and the cardiologist was rounding and I wanted to be in on that. So
Please
I
do.
apologize for my
Not a
tardiness.
problem. And if you need to jump, we get it. For all of you, remember, we have this online now. We have it in person. We can make up meetings. There's lots of ways to make this work. So I get life, so don't apologize for that at all. Life's far more important. All right, so that's a little bit behind that on backward design. What could be another learning objective or learning outcome you might think about for your course? Any thoughts?
Did you guys bring your syllabi? On the Teams message, I sent you guys the message on Teams about getting under your syllabi, not you, because.
We'll get you on Teams, yeah. So,
In the email with
Yep,
the
okay.
link to your test server site, I think I attached a syllabus of the course that I ported over for you, except for yours, because there was 3. So you just pick one that's in your test site, you might be able to use, just as, so you've got something to play with.
let's just talk about, kind of openly talk and chat for a little bit. What are the outcomes you're kind of thinking about for your courses?
So how I'm looking at, mine already has course outcomes.
Uh-huh.
I'm rewording them a little bit,
Yeah.
changing them. But what I did is I went to our ARRT
Mhm.
website that shows the outline of course content for boards. So I look at those bolded headlines for my course objectives.
Mhm.
Those are gonna be, so every bullet that they have for course or for what's on the test are going to be my course objectives.
Would you mind pulling those up and sharing those with us?
Yeah.
What other outcomes do you see? Think about your courses. What do you kind of hope students would walk away from your course with? One I hear all the time in nursing, if students could just do an accurate and efficient head-to-toe assessment. Never hear that? Would that be a good course outcome? Maybe too limited? Depending on the course, I don't think so. But go ahead, it looks like you've got some thoughts you're thinking.
I don't know, maybe more relevant to like the 100, 200 level.
Uh-huh.
Like the 400 level, they should that part of it down, because they're
Mhm.
getting more critical.
Yeah. But a lot of times in your 400, I'm betting you're wishing that they had done that better in the 100, 200 level, right? Yeah, because I hear that a lot. So
So like.
think about those kinds of things and think about being able to communicate in that level. Because that's part of what we want to be able to do too, is get that communication going to say, you know, here I'm teaching 400, but boy, I really wish my students knew head-to-toe assessment. Being able to talk to the 100, 200 level people and say, what are your learning outcomes? I'm not seeing this getting hit as well as we need to. Can we focus there? How can we pull that back up? What resources can we provide that might be helpful? You seeing anything exciting,
Yeah.
different? Okay.
So can you share that with us? If you pull down from the upper right-hand corner of your screen,
You going to station one?
and then you hit two rectangles. Now you're gonna find this guy here, NMC Create Lab 1, and it's gonna be down quite a bit because it's in alphabetical order. Ooh. And your code is 8788. Cool, now just press off here on the blank space twice.
So yeah, so Jamie was talking about how, if you go up for me a little bit to that first situation. So here we go. So this is gonna be one of her main goals. It's very wide. There's a lot of information that can be, or outcome. Patient interactions and management. There's a lot of things that we can put into that bucket, right? But that would be an overall course objective for one of your courses, or is this something that will be spread out between all three?
I probably won't focus on patient care because they should be learning all of those patient care things in another class.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna jump down to like the physics area of things.
Yeah, perfect.
So I would start here,
Okay.
first screening and safety and all the things that, is a danger. Start there and.
So yeah, excellent. I love that. So you've got a few options. Is this something that you would cover, in one course? This screening and safety is one course,
It
or?
should be.
Okay.
No, it won't be. It'll just be a touching onto it, but, I could teach a whole course on that, but
Sure.
can't.
Right, no, I get that.
Time doesn't permit, right?
Yeah, so it'll be one of the main objectives and, the main focus of the course would obviously be like our physics, and the instrumentation of how to do MRI, so.
Okay, good. And so then you kind of have these like sub-objectives and
Yeah,
like
so the-
instrumentation, we've got to cover that.
So the course objective would start with image formation, and then I would go like the weekly objectives or whatever would be that's focused on the instrumentation for the
Exactly.
static magnet, the RF system, the gradient system, and kind of.
So you already have your content in a way.
Yeah, I know what I wanna do, yeah.
Yeah, so then what we'd want to do is focus on, okay, how do I know that the students have learned this?
Mhm,
And so those assignments and those tests, the products that you want the students to create, would be the next thing that you would focus on to let you know, okay, how do I know that they know what instrumentation is and then these things here?
Mhm.
How do I know if they understand the fundamentals of these things here? And then once you get those set, then what you would do is you would work on the, okay, so now how am I gonna teach them those things? Right? What are the activities that we're gonna do so that they understand those content areas? Or what are they gonna read? What are they gonna reflect on? What are they gonna talk about in small groups, right?
But that backward design of taking those will help you get your head around, okay, what does that look like? And then thinking of that alignment down through there, okay? So they don't walk out going, okay, all of this stuff's floating around in my head, how do I get that back out? And what am I going to see on the test? And all of those good pieces there. So lots of things to think about and how to organize it to make it as easy as possible for them. But that backward design will really help in that area. All right.
Thanks, Chief.
Awesome, thanks. Anybody else think about learning outcomes? What are some other outcomes you might think about for your courses? Thank you.
So we're in the process of looking at all of our 1021s, just in the way that you mentioned, because we've been tasked with that, so. Yesterday, we spent a long time just talking about certain words and making sure that we're using the right, so population health focuses a lot on health disparities and inequalities of diverse populations, so we have a scholarly paper that we're trying to make sure that that assessment aligns with that course objective, that aligns with the lecture content and what they're seeing in clinical, so.
Is this kind of helping get head around, or is this stuff you talked about yesterday?
A lot of it, yeah,
Okay.
a lot of it is just, yeah, trying to make sure everything matches.
So as you look through this, to me, like we were seeing in Jamie's pieces, over here are those top objectives. Here's all that alphabet soup of all of the other things that we want to do to kind of think about that. Now, as we move through that then, how does that really look and how does that align then with Brightspace? So I can grab all of those different pieces. That's kind of an interesting side view. It's dim on me here. But here are our outcomes. If you take a look at the outcomes that I aligned in this one, then you're going to see individual modules specifically targeted at those areas. And these are going to be the content pieces that fit down underneath to help us put that all together. So as you're thinking about your Brightspace modules and pieces like that, that's really where that comes in. As opposed to frontward design, right? What would I put in my module here? Chapter 1 and 1.5, you know, 1.5 of 2 and 2.5 of 3, or whatever it happens to be. It doesn't make a lot of sense to the students and doesn't apply to what's relevant for them. So thinking about it in module ideas and what you're doing certainly helps with that coming together. So then what you end up with are all of your outcomes so that you can put those right in. So there's an area in the templates and Brightspace that you're going to see that are your outcomes for the week and outcomes for the course. Students really should see those and hear those consistently. So when you see my slides up here, hitting what's the week and what's the whole course, it's to get that back in. Why am I learning this? What's relevant in this? How am I going to apply it to what I'm trying to do? Does it make sense for me? Is it worth my time here? Am I learning something relevant to what I need to do? So that's a lot of backward design. We'll spend a little bit more time with backward design as we move forward, but that's a little bit behind what goes on with backward design. Any questions on that? Sonia, anything to add in? How does that fit in Brightspace? Does that tie right the way you're kind of teaching Brightspace then? Okay. Just making sure we're hitting all of those different pieces. So you're going to see some interaction back and forth between what are we doing in Brightspace, what are we doing here, back and forth to make sure that goes.
How many of you have, like what Jamie has, you've got a test that you're essentially prepping your students for? You
I
do.
mean, eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They really don't want us to teach to the NCLEX, but yeah,
Ultimately, that is
the
yeah.
ultimate goal, though. I mean,
that they pass the NCLEX, yeah.
right? And so, that's a great place to start to find those objectives, especially if you're creating a brand new course or recreating the course or what have you. Because, you know what they are looking for and what could possibly be on the test. So that is the information that you would want to cover in your course.
Nursing specifically, you're going to have the AACN Essentials, and they have 16 key components. So you could really take those 16 key components from the AACN Essentials and put those as your learning outcomes if you were going to tie it directly to the NCLEX. Now, some of those 16 aren't going to apply until 300 or 400. Some of them are going to be 100, 200 level. So looking at those and understanding those might be the nice buckets you're looking for to say this is where it fits. You're studying it ultimately for the NCLEX, but then Kimberly and folks are going to have some specific things they're really looking for, and they're going to map those outcomes directly to what it is you're doing. This really helps a lot in, actually I want to pull that. Find that. We'll pull it up as we get done with some of these intros. But really what you're looking for and what they're trying to do is map, where does 100 lead to 200? Okay, should the things that you're learning in 100 be prerequisites to 200? And are they aligned so they're ready to go in 200 to 300 and 300 to 400? Because if you're not talking about the same thing and you teach a whole bunch of stuff in 100 that's not even relevant in 200, what happens to that alignment? students are going, okay, why did I bother with 100? Because I have to learn something completely different and it's not relevant. So how do they build on, how do they scaffold, will be another word that you hear used a lot, is how do they scaffold so that I grow as we do that? So one of the things that we worked with instructors with is course introductions. So the next thing that you want to start thinking about is how are you going to introduce your course? Okay. Any thoughts so far? Haven't even thought that far yet, huh? Yeah. One of the things that's really helpful in that is thinking about this backward design for your course and then talking to the folks that lead up to you and see what is relevant for your course. So what we worked on with all of our faculty is really thinking about that scaffolding when they build their course introductions. So when you think about a course introduction, it really should have, one, what were the prerequisites? What should you know coming into this course? Right? What are the things I expect you to know? Right? A lot of people skip that one. They just assume you know that. Well, I'd like to know what I need to know walking into the course so that if I need to go back and make up some things, I need to do some review, I can go back and grab that somewhere while I'm catching up here. They need to know who you are. A little bit about you so it's a little more personal. Then what are they going to learn while they're in your course? Give me a good overview. Give me those 5 learning outcomes. What am I learning in this course and why am I learning it? If you've got a great background there, then you can really kind of pull that together and say, this is what you learned, this is what you're going to learn, these are how they tie together. What's the last step you think then?
How you're gonna learn,
With that?
like maybe how you're gonna learn it or the expectations.
Expectations, some of those kinds of things. Next step though too is also, why is it relevant to what you're going to do next? If you're in a 100 level course, where are they going to use that in 200 level? Why am I learning this? And making that stand out. Remember my math example? Why do I need to learn this? Because I said so? Because it's in the syllabus? Probably not so much. Many of you probably know my daughter is now a junior going through clinical. Why do I need to know your 100 level stuff? Where's that gonna be all of a sudden caught where I'm going, oh gee, I wish I'd paid attention, right? That head to toe assessment, how to welcome a patient, all of that good stuff, or how to make a patient feel comfortable. All of those things all of a sudden become far more relevant. But if I knew that coming in, that gee, you're going to show me this and this is where I need to know it. And gee, now I'm working over at Children's and yep, that's exactly what I needed to know. Well, right? So really thinking about how that all goes. So that all ties into your course introductions. I'm going to hope with all of these different things going on that we actually get audio out of these. We'll see how this goes. I'm not sure if we're going to see audio because of my tie in there, but we'll give it a shot. If not, we have access to these and we'll try it a different route. That's what I was afraid of. Too many different places. So in each of your required material for the day, we're gonna have to figure that audio out, but I don't know if we can get audio. No. We have to get the audio going.
You can't.
I can't broadcast to Teams
And AirPlay.
and have all of that good stuff all going at the same time. It's to be interesting, so. There we go. So that's
Talking
what I
in a
got.
tin can with an echo.
Yeah, all right.
If you pause it. Oh, no, because you're driving with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get to that. So in the PowerPoint presentations for today, you will go ahead and find 3 of them here. And those are, let's just slide back a slide here. Come on. Allison's video, Dr. Kinshu's and Aaron Putney's videos, all different, 3 different ways to do a course introduction, all distinctly different, but at the same time, all really hitting, what were those 3 components? What do you want in your course intro, or 4?
Right next to your elbow.
No cheating.
I put them in the notes.
No cheating.
Prereqs, who you are, what you're gonna learn, how you're gonna do it, why you're relevant.
Yeah. So think about those as you do that, but that middle piece of what you're going to learn, those really need to be your 5 learning outcomes for the day. I'm going to try to jump out for just a second, Tracy, and see if we can't run these here. If you want to go into the PowerPoint for today, there's a PowerPoint version where the PDF version is. You should be able to watch that as well.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna jump out here.
Yet if she didn't do the quiz,
With that,
will she see it if she didn't do the quiz?
can you get to 2.1? We may have to jump out and help you get past the quiz. The quiz was a little bit brutal today. We'll help you get through that, but I'm gonna jump out here of Teams, and we're just gonna run it here locally.
Okay.
You'll stay on that way, and you should be able to hear and see it a little bit through the Teams environment. But now we should be able to play this.
Spencer, do you wanna disable your release conditions for module 1
What's that?
with that,
Disable them?
just for module,
We should
PR1?
be okay. I think, we'll hope.
That would be the hurdle for Tracy if, because the release condition to see
Yep,
PR2 would be.
One of the questions students most often think about or ask is, why do I have to take this class? And today I'm going to tell you why Tom 2020 Healthcare Collaboration Leadership is going to be one of the best classes you take while at rest in college. Before coming into
Looks like we gotta get some audio. No, we're still in Teams. No? Sorry about that, folks. I have to mess with my audio just a little bit more. I'm gonna turn this down, but you can see, what do you need to know? She's walking through what are the communication, collaboration, and management pieces that you're going to, or conflict management you're going to need to know. What we learned. What does the instructor bring to the course? What's her background? And finally, why does it matter? I like this why. What's your why? Why is it that you're learning this, and where is it going to come in? And she really has to justify a lot, because this is a writing course. What do you think our students are worried about with writing courses? Where am I ever going to use this in nursing? That's not nursing. So really talking about why and what you're going to run into, that you're going to need that for educated citizen, for all of those different pieces. So she really has to justify that why in her side, and she does a great job of it. But those are key pieces there. We'll show a couple of the others here real quick.
And I would really start your video with you. Who are you? Why should I even listen to you in the first place? You know, if we put that in the middle of the video, it's just a design principle, because we want them to get to know you as a person and who you are, especially if you have an online environment, right? So as many times as they can see you and connect to you and see your face, they'll start really connecting to you and to your course at a much better rate. So really put that, this is who I am. Hey, welcome to my class. This is what you're getting from me. This is my expertise. Now let's talk about the course. In this course, what you need to know ahead of time is da 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 da. And then what will you get from this course, and why is this important, so on and so forth.
All right, we'll take a look at a couple more here. Hopefully I can get this audio. I think I may have resolved that if our network plays now. And maybe not. All right, well,
You turned it off.
I did, to try to avoid the echo. But we're getting,
At that time,
I don't
I'll do
understand.
this real quick.
However, as a practice.
There it is.
Yeah, well, but I don't have the video now. So
Oh,
we'll live without the video. You can choose video or audio.
One or the other.
Now armed with the rich experience and practice, NRS 738
Video, this one, you can actually see the video here.
and expand upon nursing.
She did a really straightforward, I'm just gonna do a bright space recording of a video.
Advanced practice nursing.
This is my video, this is me.
Additionally, we.
But
will
she did a
examine
fantastic
evidence-based
job with the
practice and
content side of
translational
it.
Research from a
So
theoretical
really thinking
perspective.
about what's
These
happening there.
outcomes will be
Why are we
attained
getting an
through
echo?
discussions about how theories found in the readings apply to your practice.
Because
Now,
it's
as a nurse,
essentially
and
reading two
into the
signals.
future as an advanced practice nurse. We'll apply examined theories to real-world
Alright,
issues.
so you get the
like
idea here.
COVID-19 pandemic.
One more that we're going to show, I'm just gonna skip past Aaron's here for a second. Hillsdale College, I think, does a fantastic job, and I'll go ahead and zoom that video. This is a really good one, and I hate showing this one, because Dr. Kinshu screams at me each time she sees me now after this video. Hillsdale does a fantastic job of putting together their trailers for classes. She said, darn you, I went and took every single one of their courses now. Because the introduction to the video was so powerful, so we're just gonna pull this out.
Do you have the audio headphone port for?
Not in here with me now.
Okay.
Actually, probably Sonya did a nice job of putting it right here.
There's no audio.
Yeah, okay, I hear you, yeah. Let's just run with it, we'll blow it up on the screen here, and hearing it, yeah.
That's why you're
Play
getting
with the
that.
audio here a bit.
It's different than the kind of acts of imagination that go with fiction.
No, ignore this,
Since we
it's
actually have-
same company, but, an ad for them, kinda interesting.
You're gonna have to get used to asking questions that might make you a little bit uncomfortable. Philosophy is predicated on the idea that truth is a good that we desire. Every particular question that we have
Yeah,
about justice or happiness
Figure out
or
why we're
good
getting such an echo.
has behind it a whole series of assumptions you're making about the nature of reality. Many people think about philosophy as the process of destroying
Oh, yeah.
all of your basic beliefs about reality. But in truth, philosophy is about bringing us more deeply to the truth about reality. What is the good? What is the will? What is the unifying cause? What's at the beginning of everything?
The first line in Aristotle Metaphysics is, human beings made to know, desires to know. It's hard to know, but we love to know, don't we? And these
I'll
courses
stop
are
there just in the interest of time, but you see how riveting that one is and pulls you in instantly? What's interesting about what they did, we were looking and kind of tearing their video apart to kind of see what they did. Pretty cool backdrop where he's sitting, right? Nothing more than glorified piece of paper sitting back behind him. So we have a lot of the recording capability, and you kind of learn how to put that together as you do your course recordings, that you can actually grab and do your recordings in front of screens like that too. So most of what they did there, we can do in this room here. So they get a little more carried away with building the set, but for the most part, it's paper in front of a screen. And you'll see a big class where they've got a full round class, and all they did is position pictures on canvas in appropriate places to make it look like a really cool backdrop. So lots of cool things that you can do to engage students as you do your course introduction. All right, any questions about either backward design or course introductions, thoughts that you might need help with, things along those lines? Did we throw you in the deep end?
No.
Feeling, okay, good. So you and I can chat a little bit here after we close and get things kind of figured out where to go next, and we'll go from there. All right, well, I'm gonna get out of the way so you can jump on with Sonya. and start with Brightspace. You ready to go? Anything I can help with?
No,
You want to just keep the course running over here and?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. All right.
Does anybody want a quick?
Yeah, probably take a quick 5-minute bio break.
I would like one.
You can come on out, it'll probably, they'll jump ahead on Brightspace, so, and we were only booked for an hour, so we'll help you get caught up on that one, because that one really does scaffold,
Okay.
so we wanna make sure you have a good intro there, but I thought this would be a great way for you to kind of see what we do in these courses and
Perfect. And is it, every
every week, yep.
Tuesday at 11?
Every Tuesday at 11 and 12
Okay.
for this one, and we can either get you caught up for this one, or like I said, in about 2 weeks, we're gonna start off on a whole new group.
Okay.
But you and I can sit down over here and chat for a little bit, you guys keep going, and
Just, would you like to meet in here then?
and with that, yeah, just meet in here every Tuesday at 11, yeah?
Okay.
Yep.
We can do that.
Awesome. Good to see everybody.
There should be one kind of right under this table.
Wanna wear this?
Back over. I think that would be one of the few problems we have. You know what, there's one back here that has an outlet open, is it a little bit closer for you?
It's not that long of a.
Nope, not gonna work for that one either.
It's okay. I should be okay.
I was thinking it would be ideal if we had the little, in the
The
table.
little like port things that the like library tables have?
Yeah.
Are you still with us, Tracy? Hey. If I start babbling, please tell me to slow down. Public speaking is not my forte, and I feel like last time around, I was just like trying to get through content.
I think you did just fine.
Okay.
What I'm trying to figure out, and I don't know if you can help me, looking at the previous instructor's course, you know, it said for weekly, you know, what to do every week. Read the chapters, do this discussion, listen to the lecture. Well, every single week that it says listen to the lecture, I don't see any lectures.
Oh, she like copied and pasted and didn't edit.
Like, there's nowhere for me to see, like, and I've asked previous students, I'm like, have you ever listened to a lecture? And they're like, no, there's no lectures. But the syllabus says, listen to the lecture. And when I was looking at the course, when I was in it, you know, I see his PowerPoints, but I see no lectures.
Interesting.
And
I wonder,
so-
because I know when I copied over somebody's course, I didn't copy over all the files because it was huge,
Okay,
so maybe I didn't. We could check the live site and see if it looked different.
because I think you gave me,
You did,
I thought you
had
gave me the live one, you gave me the sandbox, and then I also had
Yeah, I thought you should have
the live course, and, you know, I wanted to try to listen to one of his lectures, and
Yeah.
I never came across one.
Are yours DMS? What are your?
What do you mean?
I don't remember what the course call number was.
The course what?
The course call number.
Oh, let me see if I can find it.
ICS.
Like if you, the ICS 325. If you go into like week 1, it just has PowerPoints. But in syllabus, then listen to the lecture for every single week, but I see no lectures.
Your fall shell is in there. And I can't imagine he would just delete them after the fact. Because FYI, don't ever go and edit anything in a closed course. Students have the option for like 3 semesters to contest, so you can't change anything in a closed course. So realistically, if it was something he had used in his course, it shouldn't be there.
I mean, I asked students, I'm like, you know, is it all just you reading the chapters and looking at his, PowerPoints, and there's no lectures? And they're like, no, I've never listened to a lecture.
It looks like, I don't know, if you go to week 1, and it says required readings and recordings. These right here, these hyperlinks are to recordings.
Okay.
It looks like he used screencast.
Where do you see the?
Back one more.
Where do I
So this is week 1, and the module that's called week 1. And that's where he describes his required readings, and all of these look like they are
Okay,
linked
Gotcha.
to videos.
really, I'd be there somewhere,
But if the
but
student's getting advice,
some,
that's
the
not a very
students told me
good,
they never listened to lectures, they just,
that's not a very good system.
no, it hasn't been. It has not been.
I think
Okay,
it's
so
pretty
there
crucial
are
that,
lectures,
yeah,
okay.
you want things to be as intuitive as possible, so that you're not having to answer 100 questions. And to me, that isn't quite obvious, that that's what that is.
Okay.
Because they probably just went to the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I think that's all they've
They
been
probably,
doing.
yeah, just skipped over that. And is that this kind of the same in each week as a week 2 content? Yep, they're buried,
Okay,
that's where they are.
yeah, I don't think any of the previous students have ever really listened to
Which is
many of
unfortunate, because you
the
don't want to put all
lectures.
that time and effort into
Mhm.
creating a recording specifically.
And I don't, and they said, I guess there was one student who said she listened to a lecture or 2, but it wasn't him.
Mm.
It was
That'd be
somebody
to go through.
else's, so I'm glad I found him, so I can at least read, see what's out there.
Yeah, especially if you're reframing your content and he's talking about something that isn't even matching up with what you've got in week 1
Okay.
anymore.
Oh, that's helpful, thank you for finding that.
Okay, so for our session today, we're going to Courtney to get in, just kind of try and tie in what Mark had talked about with the making sure that you're backwards designed, that everything is kind of flowing. So we've talked about objectives, and now we're going to talk about the pieces of the content page specifically. And I'm going to go over how to create using, we call them templates, but template is also what we call the shell, like the 5-week, 8-week, and 15-week, but we call them templates as well. And it is kind of a misname here. It's called create a file, but what it actually is you're creating a web page. And I think what we had just looked at for those week 1s, that's probably what this person was doing, but not using one of these templates over here. So for the introduction that we had just watched, those standalone videos that Mark had shared, I would almost like copy that embed code to put in here, or if you had it as an MP4 file, you could insert it in here. So for getting started, the nice little literally you just click in here and you can edit to make it closer to what you want. Anything in here can be changed. And then, of course, I think I mentioned last time, anytime you see that stuff button, that's where you can add files or you can add links. Or the embed code, if you had created your file elsewhere, your video file that you would create it elsewhere, and maybe you have it on YouTube or screencast or text message somewhere, you could grab that embed code to put it in there.
Sonia, would you mind sharing your screen?
Oh, in
I
Teams.
can't see that.
So
I can't see
sorry.
that board.
Hold on.
Sorry.
I forgot that Mark was sharing his screen earlier. Was Courtney coming back?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think you can share your screen if you're doing AirPlay. Because you're already broadcasting.
Would you be able to, are you in the Teams meeting?
Nope, I can get tighter.
Sorry about that, Tracy.
No
I was
problem.
playing with Mark having to log in earlier.
Oh. I don't know what, because now I'm presenting. Are you still? What in the world is happening?
Oh, so earlier Mark had me present to station 3 and then he picked station 3 as what was showing up here. We'll do it
I
that way.
can see it.
Oh, never mind. Whatever
I
you did.
can see PR too.
Yep, that's what I'm using. And you want me to share?
Okay, yeah, go to the V2 module for Brightspace content.
Okay. Sorry, give me a minute.
That's okay. Hopefully there's not too much that has to like see the screen, because what we really want is for you guys to like hands-on do something. Which is why I wanted to make sure that everyone had access to their test site, so that as we're going through and I show you how to create a file, so to speak, or create your webpage, that you can go and create one. You don't have to use it, but just so you've got, you know, the ability to kind of make one and play with it. So when we were talking about the course outcomes,
Where do you get into
we're gonna go to the, I feel like we're backwards now. Go ahead and drop down on select, or you're not even there yet, okay.
Are we supposed to be under NMC faculty launch still?
For what we're going to do, I want you to go into whatever course you're gonna play in the test site, so that you can start making something. So
So
your
we're
course
going back.
selector tool.
Okay.
Oh, actually, you know what, go up to the URL.
Okay.
And you're gonna type test, so it'll be NMC test period, brightspace.com.
NMC test.
That's the only difference between the test server and the live server.
So I'm in it says Lamb Sandbox there. That's where you want me to be, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So Sonia, how are you sharing your screen? How are you sharing your screen before?
Before, he had me cast to the station 2, and then he picked station 2 as what was up here.
Okay. Well, so then how was Tracy seeing the content that was up there?
She was seeing what you were.
Because I was logged into the Teams meeting. So I was sharing the Teams meeting. It is so meta, I don't even understand it myself.
Right, but
We're
now
gonna
it's not letting me connect to it now, to
Okay, go to the course
I'll
selector, you should
try one more
have
thing, I guess.
your sandbox, there you go.
that one.
Yeah. And I renamed some of them. And then I did try to put in some course content.
Okay.
So it may not even be something that you're gonna use next fall, but just so, if, especially if, I think for, Nicole and Darren, it was whatever was you were last teaching. And that's- Just so you've got something to play in. I don't wanna mess with anything on the live site, that's what I was gonna tell you. Last thing I wanna do is mess with anything on the live site.
Because I have a different course than you do.
Okay, so go to the blue bar and we're gonna click on content. And then since this is sandbox that we're playing, it's not gonna matter, just pick any week that you want. I would probably start with, actually, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the overview. Cause I think it's a missed opportunity to use your overview as a place to put your overall course outcomes. You'll have your weekly learning objectives, but I think you could put your course outcomes up there so that it's always up there. But that's also a good place, I think, to put your syllabus, even though there's usually a place in your welcome or in that first module, just so it's always up there. So pretty much anywhere you see. I keep trying to click, but I can't click because I'm not sharing anything. I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone and stay away from the screen. Okay, so does everyone have at least one thing that says, so yours is clinical, so it's not gonna be in there. Just go to like your week one. Go ahead and go to welcome. Welcome or week one? Oh, you know what, you're in.
So actually, Tracy, why don't you share your screen with us?
I'm sorry.
And then we can walk you through if you have questions. or
That's
whatnot.
even better. Thank you, Spencer.
You're so cute to think I know how to do that.
So at the bottom of the screen,
Uh-huh.
down, I don't know if you can see the row down at the bottom of your screen, there's a little arrow inside of a square.
Oh, so I share it from the team screen. I was looking on.
You share it from. Oh, see, yeah, Sonia, you're not in Brightspace. I mean, you're in Brightspace, you're not in the Teams meeting anymore. That's why we couldn't see what I was looking at.
Can you see it now? No.
No. Nope. So down at the bottom, are you on your iPad or are you on a computer screen?
iPad.
Tracy?
iPad.
Okay, so down at the bottom of your iPad screen, if you're in Teams, are you in Teams?
I am.
Or are you in Brightspace? Okay, so down at the bottom, there's a little circle with some lines, there's two people, and then there's a square or rectangle with an up arrow.
Yep.
You're gonna push that square with the up arrow.
Yep.
And you're gonna hit the one that says share screen.
So when I do that, it says everything on your screen, including notifications, will be recorded. Enable do not disturb to prevent unexpected notifications.
Yep.
And then it gives me the options of photos and beyond trust support.
No, we don't need access to your photos.
So I take that off. It doesn't want to go off. I'm just there. How about that? Does that work? So then it counts down for screen broadcast.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Live broadcast has stopped due to unable to connect to session. Please make sure the main app is running and connected.
Yeah, so I'm not sure you're in team, but
It says I'm in team.
That would be here, yeah, it's got to be here.
It wants me to give it a site address for Beyond Trust remote support by Baumgar.
What? Are you working from an office space or?
No, I'm at home.
Oh.
That's a weird pop-up. Baumgar's is, the tech support that the IT uses to remote to your network device.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
But we don't need to play with that for this.
Okay, share screen, start broadcast.
All right. I've done it 3 times and it always does the same thing.
Can you see my screen again?
I can see the team screen. Like I can see the room and I can see Sonia's picture and my initials.
And then down at the bottom of the screen, so does your screen look like my screen then, that I'm sharing with you?
Yep, it does.
Do
Do I need to stop presenting?
Go ahead and continue.
Okay.
No, just, I'm not sure what.
I mean, I can see my sandbox, you know what I mean? It's all
Right.
working.
But we
I'm
can't
just not
see
able to
it, so
share
we
it.
can't really help you like, hey, we're on this point, we're on this screen, we click this tab.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just listen along and then I'm not sure watching it back is gonna help either, but I'll work
No,
through it. You go ahead.
That's what I'm afraid of, so.
What is it
Yeah.
that's being recorded?
Wait, hold on. So hit start broadcast.
Okay.
And then, no, don't press it, don't press OK. Available.
Oh, do I need to stop mirroring back there? Because I think my screen is mirroring back there.
Yeah, but then they won't be able to see what you're doing. So that's what I'm saying, how did we get you to mirror last time and share your screen and they could see it? That's why.
Okay, what happened was I came in and Mark said, cast to station 2.
Yes.
Cast to station 2, and then he presented to the screen. Oh,
Yes.
okay, I was supposed to log into Teams on station 2 from my device, and then he had it up there. But that doesn't make sense, because I wasn't moving my cursor for him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Let's just.
Sorry,
I guess
folks.
continue. Oh, you're fine. Just, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So you're doing traditional.
Did you connect to the presenter? Oh,
That's what I'm gonna try.
2217.
Is it 401 Global Health? Okay. Class that they do 1 minute. So you'll do the clinical and yeah, so right now, everything I'm doing just.
Okay.
Alright.
Teaching with studies.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, at least for today, what I want is that we look at 2 different types of module templates. That the one that you can use to go to this one. And we're gonna use the very first one, the upload and create. And we're gonna create a file, which is just create a website. And this little HTML template, it starts out completely blank. So you could, copy and paste if you had text in the Word document, copy in there. But we're gonna look at 2 different templates. The first one being the module introduction, which would be, make sure I don't hit save after this. I just realized I'm not where I thought I was. So it has a picture, this can be changed. Can you still see, Darren? Sorry.
I'm so sorry, Darren. I didn't even think about that.
You wanna
I am
shove
so
his table
sorry.
over?
I'll spit over here. Sorry, move there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, move there.
Okay, so then you've got you can change here, so you can put whatever you want for your module. I would say, you know, if you're going weekly modules, it would be week 1, and if you have a date, or sometimes people will say week 1 and then whatever the main topic is, like liver. And then you got your placeholders for your learning objectives for the week. And I do like that the template kind of tells you to, you know, use a measurable active verb. And there isn't a set number, there's just those 4 that are there. And anything in here is completely editable, as I said, so you can change anything that you want. But this is just kind of a good place to kind of set up the expectation for the week, so they know going in what it is that the content for that particular piece is gonna be. This, I think, is probably what those week 1s were that had those recordings.
Okay.
That person just didn't use a template, it was just like text that was kind of small. I think the other nice thing about using the HTML editor is that you can make things bigger to emphasize. So that is that one, and I'm gonna click on here. If you had a different picture you wanted to put in there, you can pull it up from anywhere that you have saved it on your computer, or pull it from a website. Close it out. And this little guy up here in the top corner, that kind of expands. Anywhere that you're, especially working in an assignment module, in the assignment tool or the discussions tool, just to like make it bigger so you can see more text. I always like to do that. But just like any kind of word processing, you're gonna have all of these pieces up here to edit to, if you wanna change the size, underline, centered, if you wanna add a link, add a picture, all of that good stuff. And as I was saying before, the insert stuff button is here, so if you wanted to insert a link or a YouTube video, that could be put in there. So that is the one that I would say you would almost always want as kind of your introduction to the module itself.
Where did you access the insert stuff?
It is this little button up here.
You
So,
wanna use your little mouse thing,
sorry, this little button right here.
it's the one with the play,
The
the
play, the
triangle, the
pause.
line, the circle, the stuff.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cancel out, because I just realized, I thought I went into my course. I'm not in my course, I'm in our course. Like, Mark would not be happy if I started
No, mess around, it's fine.
making new changes.
As long as you don't save it.
Sorry. So the other one for what we had just talked about, there's a template for Meet Your Facilitator. So again, it's got the little whatever picture is up at the top, and then a place where you can insert a picture of yourself here, your contact info, and then what I would say, my cursor, after you have created a video, or if you just want to create a short and sweet video, you have the option with that insert stuff to add a video note. And it's literally just going to use your webcam, nothing fancy. Or if you had a file, you could upload the file here, but I don't know, since I'm mirroring, if it's going to do any of this, but it would be an inline video, and you could record, I think 15 minutes is the max for video note. There's no editing or anything like that. But if you just each week wanted to say kind of your face to go with whatever that content is, that could have been used in the module, the weekly module one. But for this one, for your introduction, they call it Meet the Facilitator. You could say meet your instructor, or whatever pieces of information that you want to put in there. Is this even being used? This is one that's already in there for our launch site, but we don't have anything.
No, we haven't.
We haven't put anything
We have
in.
not edited
Okay.
it yet.
And so then where do these, so then it's gonna show up. Fine. that content side?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So now if you click content,
Sorry, go back there.
Are you still following along with Kay Tracy?
Kind of.
Okay.
I'll just get in there and mess around and then come bother you if I can't figure it out.
Okay.
You've shown me some of this too.
Yes, you have a very good mentor. She just finished on our spring cohort, so
and then you can move it.
she can help you as well.
There you go, and there your line shows you where it's gonna move to.
Whoa.
Wow, trippy.
I have to. Interesting. Really do.
You doing okay?
So it's just that
It wasn't you, it's the program and or our internet.
Gotcha. I didn't even.
I don't know why it's doing that now. Hit the back arrow and then just go back into it.
Okay.
Okay, so I do have kind of a brief video on content in Brightspace, which is, content is this first tab. It's pretty much your table of contents where you're gonna find all of your weekly modules. The placeholder that your quizzes and your discussions and your assignments are in. And that PDF is the instructions of what we just did on how to create a file. So that'll walk you through it if you want to play with it again later. That's where that you could find that, Tracy. There is a very long video. My predecessor, she was very long-winded, so there's a 15-minute video that kind of really goes over things a little if you want to check that out later. I haven't had the heart to start cutting that up. I mean, it's good information. I learned a lot from it. I would say for somebody in the instructional design realm, I glean a lot from her videos, but I think for the short and sweet, how do I do this? Sometimes that's why I put how long videos are. So this one is only 3 minutes. The kind of overview on there is a much longer one if you have the time to go through it. For today, what I did was, I'm not gonna go over this piece of it, but when you are working in the test site, it is a different server than the live site. So when you want to save something, you're going to export it from test site and then import it into the live site. So what I did that I sent you guys your URL, what I did was exported from the live site, whatever had been taught in the spring, and then put it into your test site. So kind of the opposite. Those instructions are right here. This first one is a link to a video, not 15-minute video. And then the second is anywhere there's a video, I always try to put, open in the window, a PDF as well, just so that you've got both if you want to watch the video and you've got your handout to follow along.
So I could go ahead and work on my course here and then export it. The file isn't open yet, correct?
It looks
I
like
don't have
when I
access
was
to.
checking for Jamie, that I saw Jamie's in there. I don't know if Matt has sent an email, so it might just be that he's rolling them out. The Ed Tech is still working on it. Usually he says by the first week of July, Ed Tech likes to have it, but you'll probably see an email that goes out to all faculty when all of them are ready. So he's definitely in the process.
Okay.
So yeah.
But I could go ahead and build things in this and then export it when it's available, correct?
100%, yes. Go ahead and start.
Okay.
Build away to your heart's content in the test server. It's not going to affect anything. And if it's something that you want to delete and start over, that's why we call it a sandbox, because you can delete it and start over. Yeah, that's where you can play. This is the piece that might come in handy for while you're, this is, how long is this one? There's a video that walks through how to copy content. I think I did the work for you by going ahead and moving everything over, but I am going to walk through just how to copy something from one course to another. I'm trying to find an example of when.
So
depending on what you would want it to do.
So if you do one clinical section and you want it to be in all 3 of your clinical sections,
Yes,
you can do it then?
that's a good one, okay. When I go to my course, I'm so messing with this course. Oh, yeah. That would be Miss Jackie. So in your course tools, I would say there's probably 4 tools that are pretty predominant. It's gonna be your assignments, your assignments, your discussions, and your quizzes. And then the course admin, it's a pretty powerful tool. That is where you can do a whole lot in here, but that's where the import, export, and copy components are. So to import your content from the live site into your test site, or if you just want to copy, like if you just want to copy your question library from one course into another course, that's how you would do it. It is defaulted to copy right here, so you want to go to the one that you're putting it into and then search for the one you want to pull it from. I zoomed too much.
But again, this is something that we would do probably after we've set everything up, correct?
This is how you would pull things in as you're building. If you want to recycle content from
Okay.
something else.
Yes.
So I would say, let's say I want to pull something out of this crash course, but I don't want everything. I want to do this one down here. I want to do select components. So then on the next screen, that's where I get to choose exactly what I want. So I don't want all the quizzes. I want select pieces of the quizzes. Continue again. And then we're gonna click on this little guy to like expand. And then I want only the notability quiz. That's the only piece that I want. And then if there were specific dates, you could check and change them here. But it's showing me that I'm just copying one thing. So if you've created a quiz that you really like in one section, then you want to use it in the other, instead of starting over from scratch, you can copy just one piece of it. Copy is complete, so now we can go and view the content. And anything that you create new is always going to come up at the bottom. Well, if this were a module, it would come up at the bottom. But go to your course tools, and that quiz should show up as the very last thing. I have a lot of stuff in here. And there it is, my notability quiz. And then you can go in and edit if you wanted to add new questions specific to this section, or this would be where you would put in your due dates and those sort of pieces. And then make sure that it's syncing to the gradebook. Because obviously, since we pulled it from another course, it's not associated to this one anymore. So that's where all of those pieces are. Just since I had kind of showed it earlier, in this first window, sorry. If you want to allow multiple attempts, that is in, there's kind of 3 little pieces over here. The availability and dates is when you set your due dates. Timing and display is when you decide if you're gonna shuffle, if you're going to disable. And when it says instant messaging, it's not like another browser application, it's just quite literally. I zoomed too much. Up at the top of the page, this notification. And I want to point that out because if you have, I know in the stenography class, they have some quizzes that are, they're like an ongoing kind of supplementary activity that they could start and not finish, or could take several days. Once a student starts in a quiz and you have got that set to not show any notifications, then they're not going to get notifications. So like if you're sending announcements, or if Brightspace is going to give them alerts about a due date, they're not going to see it, because what that is doing is actually disabling notifications from Brightspace. So, I mean, yeah, it seems like you're like preventing, cheating or something, but in reality, it might actually be a hindrance to students. So I would almost always leave that unchecked. How earlier when we were seeing things in a different order, that's the shuffling option. Scrolling too much. So in the attempts and completion, that's where you can set if it's the type of quiz where you want them to have more than one attempt, you can select up to 10 or unlimited. And then for most of the nursing, I would say that they always leave it set at no questions. So what that means is at the end of the test, they will more often than not just see a screen that says your test is complete and then they hit submit. But some other sections might want them to see what questions they have missed. More often than not, the nursing don't. There is when we go into the quizzes tool later, I will show you how you can set up a custom view. If during a certain window after, especially if there's like any kind of written response sort of things that you have to manually grade, that you can give them a time frame when they can see A, the grade, and then B, any of the questions that were missed or incorrect. We'll go over that in a different session though. I'm gonna pause and make sure I'm not getting too loud or too, I tend to babble, I'm sorry. Let me know if I'm going too bad. So the main pieces of content I wanted to make sure we covered was how to create a web page. This is also anywhere here that if you wanted to add in a new assignment. So slow, you can do that from here. Or in the inverse, if you have an assignment that you've already created, you would go to existing activities to pull in the new assignment, pull in the assignment, and then you would grab whatever the name of it is. And like I said, anything that you add in, Brightspace always puts at the bottom of your list. But anywhere you see these little 8 dots, you can drag that to kind of reorder it. I feel handicapped without my mouse. Now it's being all weird. But you could grab that to put them into a different order. Let's say I don't want that. Let me do it. I'll try a different one. Just drop down next to it, and the very last option is to delete that topic, and that would just delete it completely. But what these are, like the discussion topic, it's just the placeholder that takes them to the corresponding tool. It's there, but it's not really there anymore. All right. So this is also where you would be able to upload a file. That's where you want to add your PowerPoints. I zoomed in too much. We wanted to create a link if there were a link to an external resource that you wanted to use. And what's the other one? Oh, if you had created your video elsewhere, you could also upload it here. There was one more thing I was gonna. Oh, see over here on this side, where if it looks like there's anything, let's pop one out. You can create a sub module, so it kind of it'll be part of week 2, but like a sub module. That's the very, very last option, is to add a sub module. And I don't know, it just, if you want to keep your things grouped, you could do it that way. Oh, here's a good one. Anywhere you see the words broken topic, especially if something's being moved over from another course, it probably means that, well, in this case, it's a file. Oh, no, this broken topic. You just want to make sure to match it up to the edit properties in place. And I forgot what week we're in, but if it was the discussion for this week. And then click on it. Your topic. Pick the topic. Alright. And that's just kind of like creating a link so everything is matching back up. So now you kind of see it indents and you've got your submodule. We just want you to feel like you have autonomy with your course, that yes, you know, we want you to have your modules labeled in a consistent way so that course to course, that students know where to find things, but within, you know, the module itself, you put the things in the way that makes sense to you. And unfortunately, as Jamie has discovered, you also want it to be obvious. So maybe for this week 1 content, oh, here's an example. It looks almost identical to the one that we had just looked at. And it looks like the PowerPoint presentation is just kind of buried in here, but let's look at week 1. Is there also somewhere else? Yes, that it's also there. I would 100% say it's okay to be redundant. To put, as long as it's the exact same PowerPoint in both places, put it in more than one place, because students may not realize it's there and you've got it in more than one place. The other thing is when we had created the overview, go back to it again. That is also in the module introduction. That's also, you can hyperlink to one of those submodules itself from here.
The other thing that Kathy has taught me is that anytime you put a PowerPoint, you want to also save it as a PDF so that they can easily put it into Notability.
Yes, yes, that is, thank you very much, Tracy. It saves a little bit of work on the student's end. And I think Mark mentioned earlier that Brightspace really likes to use PDFs. So even if this, like right here, is a Word document, oh, of course, there's no file. But Brightspace would actually display it as a PDF. A bad example. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of double check that we've got, go back to the correct course. So I did put information in the supplemental area that the templates that I think I probably mentioned earlier, I put content into each of your test sites, but there are also these different templates, kind of. When we say template, that's what we're saying, is that just the pieces that are like week 1 through whatever. And the ones at the very bottom are pretty static. There's always going to be the library APA resources and the technology and student resources. These two you don't have to change. Those are just always supposed.
You shouldn't change those.
Right, right. There has been one change, and I think unless you were copying content from before fall of 2022, the link for the Writing Center changed, but we, either I or Dana, the admin assistant, will make sure that either you're aware of it, or that when we send the email with the new, because there is a new syllabus template that's going to be used in the fall. So I'm sure that it'll be mentioned there if there's any other changes. But those, I put the instructions, I did it for you this time to go ahead and get all your stuff imported, but that is also where you would find more information on where to, if you wanted like a completely clean slate, where those pieces are. And there's a video on the release conditions. The way that we had set it up this morning that you couldn't even see your next session for today until you had passed the quiz for the first session. So there's something called a release condition. So if you want students to have reviewed a module or taken a quiz or done something that is traceable in Brightspace, that so that the system knows that you've done X, so that you can see Y. That's what that piece is. You know, I didn't put it in here, but I'm gonna go back to my course. If for somehow you have accidentally copied over the wrong thing, which it could happen, absolutely 100% could happen, and you're like, oh crap, now what? Go to your content page. And if you're not comfortable doing this, just let me know and I will do it for you. Go to your content page and click on the table of contents. And then right next to the actual Word table of contents, if you drop down and click on delete all modules, you can empty it all out, start over fresh. So you would delete all of those modules, which would empty everything out, but then you would also need to go to the assignments, delete all of your assignments, delete all of your discussions, all of your quizzes, and then go to your grades, manage grades, and then, so I mean, it's not the end of the world if you import the wrong course, it's just a little bit of cleanup. But then you would clean all of that out, you would do select all, more actions, and delete. So I think I'm gonna put that. I mean, it's in the Brightspace training. Where would you put that? You think, Spencer?
I mean, I would put that in an area where you focus on copying course content.
So I think I might put it in with, I'm gonna just in Brightspace training, if you want to find it, since I mentioned it and I don't have it in our launch site yet. In the search bar, you can just type delete, and that's where there is both a video on how to delete all the course content and then the PDF that walks through the steps of all the pieces that you need to go in and delete. But yeah, mental note, I will put that. I mean, it's like a never event. You don't want to have to delete everything and start over, but I mean, it could happen. Especially if you're teaching multiple sections and you've put it in the wrong place or moved it to the wrong section. It's not the end of the world. There is, I would say, almost nothing that I can't undo for you. There is like if like a student takes a quiz and you need to like delete those attempts and start over, we can, I don't want to go into the weeds, but there's almost nothing that we can't fix. I will put that in the required because I 100%, I want you to know how to delete. And like I said, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you could reach out and our team can do that. Okay. So I think, back to the launch page. I covered all of the pieces that I wanted to cover. Is there anything that you wanted me to go over?
So for my online course, I have what somebody else taught. Is it easier to go in and edit, like, 'cause she's got a video for everything that I need to make my own. Is it easier to start like as a fresh sandbox course and just move the objective, like move it and make it my own, or is it easier to delete all her stuff? Like,
I would say that would be a personal preference. If you wanted to completely have your footprint, yeah, you could, and I'll put those instructions in there on how to delete everything. But I just wanted you, at least for today, to have something to work with.
play with, yeah. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out which saves
The
my
other
last
option
work.
would be, go back to my test course.
Like, which way is easier to like,
If you wanna keep
cause I'm probably keeping
her
about-
stuff and your stuff,
Yeah,
you could leave those modules in there and then create a new module and then start editing that module, and then delete the module that you don't want.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose it depends how much of her stuff I'm actually saving.
Yeah, so if you could do like week 1 with all caps, just to differentiate it, well, these aren't weeks, from that week 1, and then start those at the bottom, so your new ones will be all the ones at the bottom, and then you can copy what you want, or drag, get out of here. Drag what you want into that one,
Okay.
and then, and anywhere, I'm gonna click on this guy, that you've got under the module header up here, you can delete that module. You don't have to go through and delete them all at once, like I was just showing you, but.
Right,
yeah.
okay. Okay, that works, thank you.
So it's just the workflow that's gonna work best for you,
Gotcha.
because you wanna put your footprint on it. Any other? You feel like you're ready to start going in and
I think it
editing
takes
and playing?
time with it.
Yeah.
Just takes time.
Just take some time, yep.
Thank you, Sonia.
All right, thank you guys. Yep, we'll see you guys next week. There is another quiz. Hopefully it will be done. And again, the only reason we do the quiz piece is just to help reinforce that for you so that you guys are not allowed to forget. We as the Create team want to model what we teach to you guys, and so we hope that you take those ideas and also use them in your courses, so.
So is it Tuesday or
I'm sorry, what's?
next week?
Yeah, because there's one on Tuesday, the 4th, and then there's one on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Oh, I think the Tuesday's
Oh,
canceled.
Tuesday's
because of the
canceled, please
holiday.
don't come in on the
Because of
4th of
the
July.
Okay.
Don't do anything on the 4th of July. So
So
I think that's the
this-
one for Tuesday, yes,
So,
or I mean for Thursday rather.
so 11 o'clock Thursday for both Mark's portion and your portion.
Okay.
Okay.
We're trying to do them
And-
back to back. Sorry, Tracy, go ahead.
I will be in clinical on Thursday, so I'll watch the recording.
And I'm gonna record, after we
Same
finish
computer.
this, I will make sure to get it uploaded. You were able to watch the recordings from last week? Or, well, no,
I
you
was-
said.
I was here
You
last
were
week.
here last week. It was Nicole, sorry.
It's Kristen, I think.
Yeah, I watched, Kristen watched one of them. I
Okay.
didn't watch the other one, yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna do that for each week, is to make sure that we've got a recording this time around, because we don't have two. So after I hit end, then we will be done, and I'm gonna make sure I get it uploaded, and if you guys have any questions, as you're playing, you could reach out to Mark or Spencer, right? Alright,
That's good.
Okay.
alright,
Thank you guys, see you next week, have a great holiday.
and we'll see you the
You
week
too.
after that. Okay, bye Tracy.
So everything everything that you're teaching is under the NMC faculty launch, right?
Mhm.
I'm not, because I have another course that says Bright
Yeah,
Space
the Bright
Training.
Space Training.
We're
That
never
is-
working from that.
That is just supplemental content. I would say 98% of what I put into launch, I'm copying from there.
Okay, so anytime you guys are instructing, it's from the launch?
Yes.
Okay.
There might be, I'm trying to because I had been linking to it in the launch course, but I'm trying to make it so that everything lives in launch